This morning, coming to you from Joplin, Missouri, we are here to look back at the deadliest tornado in United States history since records began in 1950. It was a monster tornado, the most powerful category of tornado there is, an EF5 with incredible wind speeds of more than 200 miles per hour. At its biggest, it was nearly a mile wide as it decimated this densely populated area. It hit Joplin at 5:41 on a Sunday evening while many people were going to church. And just minutes after, 455 students graduated from Joplin High School, which took a direct hit. The tornado took the lives of 161 people and injured more than 1,100 others. It badly damaged or destroyed more than 3,000 houses. The price tag, approaching $3 billion, made it the costliest tornado on record as well. It was on the ground for an eternity, 38 minutes of fury, and destroyed everything in its path. Part of what made it so deadly was that it was rain-wrapped, meaning people in town couldn't see it until it was too late. Since then, there has been new growth, and there continues to be healing here. Convoy of Hope looked a lot different 15 years ago when we responded to this disaster. But this one, right in our own backyard, seemed to be a bit of a turning point for the organization. It came on the heels of two other major disasters at the time that really began to stretch Convoy of Hope. Carrie Kingsland explains more about how that worked.
In 2011, it's unforgettable. It's a defining moment in my life, but it certainly was for the organization as well. We didn't even recognize how much help we needed in that moment. We are already fully engaged in Alabama. So we got the southeast storms that had happened, which was significant to the nation because what happened in April of that year eclipsed what had happened in 1974 when they had 315 people die. And in this case, there's 343 people who have lost their lives to that swath of tornadoes that went through the southeast. So we're very involved in that. On the 11th of May of 2011, we have this 8.9 earthquake that hits Japan. It's the first time that Convoy is involved in a developed country. I mean, we go to places that typically people don't want to go in the first place at times, and then certainly don't want to go there during a disaster. And here we are now trying to respond to a developed country, maybe one of the highest developed countries of the world. And so we are waist deep in working in culture and dealing with that. And then we see this storm hit right in our backyard. When I think of 2011, I think of the first time that we had three significant, devastating disasters that we're all at one point in time dealing with as an organization at one time. But I just remember as I was hearing myself talk, thinking about, man, God, thank you for three things. Thank you for resources, thank you for relationships, and thank you for reach. Because we were really extending our reach that day. It's one of the many moments, milestones in the history of our organization that has helped shape who we are. And we did something first. We built 13 houses. We're not known for building houses. That's not what we really do, but we had an opportunity, an abundance of help that came in that allowed us to be a part of at least 13 families on a very granular level to ensure they had some security in their future. I think that we miss, even from a biblical model, we miss Paul's words about planting and watering and recognizing that God's behind all that brings the increase. And I think that's where, if it's talking to a donor, if it's talking to a partner, they all bring something that's significant, and it might even seem to them insignificant in the scope of maybe what they see at times from the organization. But that's the part that makes the difference. I think that's a beautiful outcome to how God kind of says, hey, I'll help you be known. And I think it's helped us with other moments that we've needed to make an ask, to be an advocate for a need that we find that maybe we want to be a part of. We're not the best suited for that piece of it, but you are. And if you join us and be a part of that, we can make this a lot better situation.
So this event was a real hands-on learning experience for Convoy of Hope. It was also an opportunity for us to be the hands and feet of Jesus at a time that people really needed it, and in some new ways for Convoy of Hope. Whether it was sifting through debris, looking for things that could be salvaged, helping with cleanup, handing out food and water, praying with someone, or replanting destroyed crops, Convoy of Hope was here to make a real difference. And Sarah Forhetz spoke with someone who experienced that difference.
I got a phone call, said it's all gone. That was the first thing I heard before I ever even got out here, was it's all gone.
The news, as shocking as the tornado itself, an EF5 ripped apart Chad Wilcox's livelihood.
It was so devastating. I mean, I was here within probably not even an hour after it went through.
And only hours after, he received a call about help from Convoy of Hope.
You know, I was thinking it would just be him. I didn't know what he could do, but he's like, well, and then told me about Convoy, and he's like, well, let me see what I can do.
Then the Convoy team rolled in.
And then they called up and put some work crews together and came out, and back over there we had a big forest, and we lost about 80 big oak trees, and that was just a big mess to clean up. And so they came out and cleaned up all the limbs.
80 oak trees ripped up. Convoy teams cut them all into firewood. Dozens of rows of blueberries Chad grows and sells were gone. Months after the storm, Convoy of Hope came back to the farm to replant them in season.
So that time came, and then sure enough, they came back in the fall, and because I let them grow all summer long, and they'd matured and done really good. They went from about 3 to 6 inches tall to some were average between 2 to 3 feet tall.
The selflessness of others, here for the long haul, leaving Chad in an even better position than before.
You know, a lot of people come out and get blueberries. If they hadn't done that, then you know, we wouldn't be back to where we were, you know, before. Heck, maybe even a little bit better. And I just thought that was very thoughtful and kind of them. And God blesses people in many ways. To this day, I still tell people about you guys, everything you did and orchestrated, and everything you helped out with.
You know, one of the things we know at Convoy of Hope is that volunteers make it happen. That's true in so many aspects of what we do. We're so grateful for those who give their time, their talents, and their passion to serve others, to allow us to do what we do. Volunteers like Bob Brewer, who was on the front lines here in Joplin.
My first tornado was Mena, Arkansas. It was just, you know, nothing like Joplin. I mean, it was just devastating. No stop signs. There was a school bus in a tree. You drive by the hospital and you see how that thing was twisted, and the multitude of cars that were all over the parking lot, just like somebody took and twisted them and were wringing out a rag or something, you know. It was just unbelievable. No stop signs, no street signs. There was hardly anybody that didn't have lost a family member or a neighbor or somebody that they knew. My name is Bob Brewer, and I've been with Convoy of Hope since 2009. Joplin, I was there through the initial phases. Was there, you know, as soon as we started setting up. And then after that, they come in with the restoration, building of houses, and, you know, cleaning up. And so they acquired a warehouse there and started getting product in, building supplies, furniture. We had several distribution points in different churches around. This one church was just a shell, and they had a tent set up on the outside and was doing a distribution point there. Convoy of Hope, I've been very happy to be with them, and they're a great organization, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
And we are proud to link arms with people like Bob. Thank you, Bob, for what you allow us to do. One of the things he mentioned there was the building of houses in the aftermath. That was something that was pretty new to Convoy of Hope in 2011, and it got the attention of the media. Here's how Sarah and KY3 covered our very first house dedication here on the 1-year anniversary of the tornado.
If home is where the heart is, then Helen Owen's heart has been broken for more than a year. Joplin's tornado destroyed the 79-year-old widow's house last May.
Yeah, if I'd been there, I wouldn't be anywhere.
Since then, Helen's been a house guest.
When you live with other people, you know, I mean, it's not the same as having your own place.
Today, the stress of the last year finally caught up with her on this first anniversary of the deadly storm, landing her in this hospital room exhausted,
Cut away.
but also excited about where she was supposed to be today.
It's been hectic.
It's a good hectic back at Helen's old property, a new home built just for her. Convoy of Hope turned over the keys to Helen's daughter today.
She's been here like every day, watching the guys. They said that they couldn't change the colors in the house because she changed it half a dozen times because she couldn't decide.
Finally, the hope for return to a new normal for Helen and thousands of others who, like her, lost it all. We came up on this scene today in Joplin, and it seems really indicative of what you could find all over the city. We're here on the slab of what was once a house, and there's even a little girl's teddy bear still here. Then right beside it, sadly, what looks like flowers that you'd find at a cemetery, and a stone, what's left of it, that says "Bless this garden." Then behind us, the iconic St. John's Hospital, what's left of it. It looks like a parking garage as all the windows are now blown out. And then over here behind us, the foundation of a house. It looks like a family's last name, Alsons. It says "All okay." And then just up the hill, a brand new house, new signs of life, new signs of progress. And then continuing on in the circle, construction crews are working on yet another house, rebuilding another family's lives.
Really, without help that came along, she wouldn't be able to get back into a house.
Convoy's Jeff Neaney says Helen's new start is part of a community effort. She and 11 other families are moving into new homes at no cost to them because of people in the Springfield area who gave so much.
People that gave and volunteered and prayed and did all the things that were necessary along the way. Everybody that did any one of those things contributed to this home and every other home that's being rebuilt.
Right now, I'm glad it's finally at the tail end and I can get in it.
So now Helen is just very excited to get out of the hospital and get into her new home. She says she's very thankful for all the people in the Springfield and surrounding area. If you came out to the Bass Pro KY3 fundraiser that we did with Convoy of Hope, this is literally your dollars hard at work, and now you can see the payoff.
Sarah reporting in the old days there. Convoy of Hope built 13 of those houses here in Joplin. They were built to be extra sturdy with concrete insulated walls. Building those houses was a major undertaking for Convoy, and it required a team leader with specific knowledge in that area. And that brings us to Stacy Lamb, who came to Convoy at just the right time. We came back here recently to talk about that. Well, here we are in one of the neighborhoods that was decimated. It's kind of strange to be back and see everything built up. But one of the things you'll notice in this neighborhood and in many of the neighborhoods around Joplin is that all the trees are young trees.
Right.
None of them are tall.
Right, especially in these neighborhoods. These were older neighborhoods, so there were lots of big mature trees, and
Right.
of course in the immediate aftermath there was nothing.
It's odd to be back and see it now, isn't it? When was the last time you were back here?
Probably 6 to 7 years ago. Yes, this is the last time I drove through this neighborhood. You know, when we left here, there were some homes up, but obviously there's many more now.
It was, you and I were talking before this, and they had, this was so flattened and unrecognizable that they had to spray paint street names on the streets.
Right. Nobody knew where anything was. All the street signs are gone, obviously. And so, yeah, the city had to come through and paint the streets just so even the locals knew even where to start looking for their own belongings in their own home.
We're on this block because this blue house over here is actually
Correct.
The first house we built?
It's not the first,
Okay.
but it's one of 13.
One of 13.
That we built here. The first one is a few blocks away, but this is one of 13 that we built over the course of about 3.5 years. Convoy was here 3.5 years.
Wow.
From day one until we finished the last home.
How did we get to the point where we're building houses? That's something new for Convoy.
Yes, it was at the time, doing long-term recovery and building homes. Of course, we started with response, and I wasn't here at the time. I came on actually to oversee the building projects once we transitioned to that, which was about 6 to 9 months after the initial response phase.
When you look at this now and you remember that house being built, right? You were in charge of that house being built. What's it like to see it now? And I know a lot of the people who lived in the houses still aren't there now or aren't with us. But what's it like to see it?
Well, it's pretty cool. I mean, obviously, it's rare that we are able to go back to some place that we responded to or did building projects for, 10 years later. But to see it there, obviously, the family there, and of course everything growing back up around it. So just, it's kind of a sense of completion, and it's just really good to be able to see, the community come back and the neighborhood come back after such a devastating event.
Yeah, this disaster really started your work with Convoy.
It did.
And then it kind of morphed into more of disaster services. Tell us how that worked.
It did, yes. So, like I said before, I was volunteering with our church. We came over to do, response work, clean up. Our church took on a similar project. We found a family that did not have insurance,
right.
And so our church decided to rebuild a home, and I was tasked with overseeing the project for the church. My background is in home construction, and so in doing that in 2011, my name was thrown out, or somebody came across my name for the potential.
Just so happened?
Yeah, just so happened to come across for the potential the project manager that was needed for Convoy. So that's what brought me ended up being the project manager for the homes here, and fortunately they kept me around.
And now you're in charge of U.S. disaster services.
Yes.
So what is it that you think Convoy learned from this event that we've kind of taken forward and can take even further forward?
I think from the long-term recovery aspect of a disaster, this being so close to home, we saw it firsthand, and we saw how many years that it took. We still see vacancies in lots, and so we can see that it takes years for a community to recover. And I think Convoy was able to see, that we're able to come alongside folks that might have FEMA funding that comes their way, or maybe another nonprofit that was able to partner with them in some way, but it still wasn't enough to get them whole again. And so what we brought to the table here in Joplin was to work alongside other partners and even folks that had FEMA funds or whatever the case may be, and we were able to step in and put all the pieces together and get them back in a new home.
Wow, that's incredible, and what value there is in that moving forward.
Yeah.
I know everybody who was here and saw it immediately afterward, it affected them deeply. How do you think it affected you?
Just being able to, coming in the immediate aftermath, seeing all the devastation, and being here, working here nearly on a daily basis for 3.5 years, and being able to work alongside folks that did not know how they were going to rebuild, how they were going to rebuild their lives and get back to where they were, and just being able to be a part of that process, just a small piece of that, it really just kind of, it just hits you right here. But just very thankful, actually, to just be a part of that.
Thanks, Stacy.
Absolutely.
It is clear that what happened here 15 years ago had a big impact on the organization as a whole, but also on all the individuals who came here and really saw devastation like most of us had never seen before. One of those who experienced that is Hal Donaldson. We recently went back to Mercy Park, which is just right across the street here from Cunningham Park, where we are today, to talk with Hal about the takeaways from the Joplin tornado, both organizationally and individually. Coming back here, what are your initial thoughts?
Yeah, I remember the 1 year anniversary, which was quite a big gathering. I mean, thousands of people in this park right over here. And I remember sitting up on the platform. They had asked Convoy of Hope me to come and speak. And so I was addressing the crowd. But just before I got up to speak, they had all the first responders who came, and I think you were there, right? And they lined up in front of the stage, and they had a moment of silence. Honestly, that really choked me up. And then I had to get up and speak right after that, and just trying to fight the tears. But I remember all the television trucks. You were in one of them, I think, along that road right there. But the city came together in a very big way, and to commemorate what had happened, but also to dream about the future.
Well, we're in that future now, but as you look back, what do you remember about the first time that you saw the devastation, unlike many people have seen before?
Yeah, I remember driving into town probably 36 hours later, and after the tornado, and driving into the parking lot of the hospital, which I believe was right here, and just letting the tears flow because incredible devastation. I mean, that was a high-rise facility all of a sudden really brought to its knees and rubble, and that's probably my first memory of it all.
When you think back about it now, I know for me, when I think back, I can't recreate the damage and the intricate detail of all of the damage like it was then. Do you have that same issue?
I'm the same way. I think one of the things that sticks out is just the heroic response of Convoy of Hope. Our team didn't wait. As soon as the tornado hit, they had the trucks rolling, and those trucks didn't stop rolling, Ethan, for a long, long time. I think that moment really changed Convoy of Hope. I think it was a good reminder of why God had placed us here in times like this. And, we certainly received a lot of exposure, but it also reminded us what we're all about, and that's meeting needs.
Talk about how Convoy came to be involved in this. It's right in our backyard, basically.
Yeah.
So how did it happen? How did we find out about it? How did we show up?
Yeah, that's the amazing thing. Convoy of Hope didn't wait to be invited. The invitation came in the form of a tornado. And when that tornado ripped through, our people immediately jumped into action, saying, okay, what can we do? And one of the things I do remember is just the gratitude in this community. When I stepped off that stage at the 1-year anniversary, it was almost like a rock star stepping off the stage at a rock concert. People swarmed around to say thank you to Convoy of Hope. I remember one guy, he brought me a stick. It's in my office even now. It's like a walking stick. And he said something along the lines, Convoy of Hope was Moses to us. You showed us that we would make it, that we would survive. And I think also it showed churches and businesses, civic organizations, and government across the country that there was an organization like Convoy of Hope in the Midwest, not on one of the coasts, but in the Midwest, that really had huge capacity. And so our phones began ringing off the hook, and people saying, how can we connect with you to get the job done here in Joplin?
This really raised the awareness of Convoy when it comes to disaster service.
It really did. And I think the local media, you were a part of that, really embraced Convoy of Hope and raised, I think, even the platform for Convoy. So we're indebted to the news media for, believing in us.
Well, we were happy to cover a great organization doing great work at a time when it was desperately needed. Obviously, the pictures tell you that.
Yeah.
How do you juxtapose what you remember about the immediate aftermath of that tornado with when we're standing right where Mercy Hospital stood?
Yeah.
And that neighborhood behind us was leveled. The tornado went right this direction.
Yeah.
How do you juxtapose that vision, that memory to what we're seeing now? This is a beautiful park, and all of those houses are brand new.
Well, my speech that night on the 1-year anniversary, I spoke about the Intercontinental Railroad and how, that was a humongous challenge to say we're going to connect coast to coast the railroad. And so I talked about that night, is all the challenges, the lives that were lost, and over rivers and over mountains, and how we finally got it done. Why? Because people worked together. And that night, I really challenged people through unity and us coming together. Joplin one day will be better and bigger than ever, and to see this, pretty amazing. I mean, sometimes Dory and I will drive here to Joplin, and we'll drive through the area. Don't do it often, but sometimes. And just to say, you remember when but look at it now.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great reminder for Convoy that through unity, so much can be accomplished.
It's amazing the growth that has happened. Just as I was driving through, I haven't been back in a long time.
Yeah.
But driving through, you look around and you're like, oh, I remember being there and what it looked like. And now it's new growth, and it's wonderful.
Well, the people of Joplin have been, like if you'll go to a restaurant here and you're wearing a Convoy of Hope shirt, for example, invariably someone will come up to you and they'll say thank you.
They haven't forgotten.
They haven't forgotten, no. And I think that's a great message for Convoy. We have been involved in countries all over the world, in communities all over the nation. And people don't forget, they don't forget. And Scripture says that a gift opens the door for the giver. Convoy just needs to continue giving. Let's not be hoarders. Let's not just hold on to the resources and the blessing that God has given us. Let's continue to be channels of blessing to people across the United States and around the world. And if we'll do that, there's no limit to what God can do through Convoy.
Is that the spiritual takeaway?
I think so. Yeah, I believe that if Convoy will do several things, if we'll stay reliant on the Lord, realize He's our source, not get full of ourselves, and that we'll continue to be a channel of blessing to people, there's no limit, because God wants to help people more than we do. He does. He wants to bless people. He wants to lift them up who have fallen. He wants to do all that. He's just looking for people like us who'll say, Lord, I'll try. And Convoy just needs to keep trying. And if we'll keep trying, God will continue to supply.
That's the organizational takeaway, spiritually. Do you have a personal takeaway? Do you have something that jumps out at you? Is there something else that jumps out at you that makes you remember that day or that event?
I remember talking to a lot of the citizens of Joplin, because we were here for a long time, and so you begin to develop relationships with people. And, I think one of the things that sometimes I think we take for granted what we have. And then when we lose it, we realize a lot. And so, I think for me personally, I just hope I continue to live with gratitude. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I take things for granted. But hey, you and I, we've been given so much. We've been blessed, and when you think about it, I don't remember how many people lost their lives, but it was a lot in this very community, all the families that were devastated by that. And just to live with gratitude for what we do have.
That day was a quick realization of how quickly it can all be gone.
Isn't that the truth? Yeah, absolutely the truth. Yeah. Good. It's good to be back in Joplin.
Yeah. Thanks, Hal. The rebuilding continues and really the healing continues, but it's important from time to time to remember. And we thank you for taking time to do that with us today.